Good morning, world.
Good morning, everyone.
So we did a video last week called I'm Not Racist by Joyner Lucas.
Yep, we did.
Yep. And it's got the most downvotes of any of our videos.
Which we were excited about.
Yeah, we're good. And we got a lot, well, I shouldn't say we. My man here got a lot of hate. But these comments all have a common thread. In my opinion, they're still kind of promoting segregation. They're kind of stuck in that rut.
Right.
But the comments, I think, make our point for us, and we're going to go over those comments today for you.
So let's get into it. I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian, and this is Cedric and Brian.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Like Brian alluded to in our intro, we're going to go over some of the comments. This is a special video. If you guys saw our video when we did the review of Joyner Lucas's song, I'm Not Racist, there's a lot of comments in there, which we're open to. When we decided to be YouTube content creators, we realized we're going to get some hate, some pushback, and that's what happens when you do a channel of this nature. So we're going to go through a few of the comments. Brian will. And I just want to say that if you're a content creator, you've done stuff like this and you take a 22-minute video, there's going to be 3 or 4 seconds that someone's going to disagree with. And as much as you try and do your work and you do your homework and you write things down, you're not always going to be prepared.
Are you prepared?
Like Brian says, are you prepared? Do you have enough food, water, and other essentials to get you through tough times? If not, check out My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's #1 preparedness company, and they've served millions of American families just like yours. Right now, you can save 25% off their popular 4-week emergency food kit, which will keep you well fed for 4 weeks worth of breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, and snacks, totaling over 2,000 calories a day. This food stays fresh for up to 25 years in proper storage, so it will be there when you need it. In fact, you may need it a lot sooner than that.
So don't wait. Go to www.preparewithcedricandbrian.com. That's www.preparewithcedricandbrian.com.
Actually, it's kind of exciting. I mean, it was kind of good.
You were kind of down for a little bit.
I was bummed. I was a little bummed. We put the video out, and if you guys know Brian and I, we're not the serious content creators. We're not on the same level with a Thomas Sowell or Larry Elder or Candace Owens. We're more somewhere. We're not them. We're not the Hodge twins. We're in the middle.
We're two regular knuckleheads.
Two regular knuckleheads talking about stuff. And the thing about being a content creator, for any of you who put out a YouTube video, you're giving your opinion. Based on your paradigms, based on things that have gone on in your life. And there are people who are going to agree with you, and there are people who are going to disagree with you. If you guys haven't seen the video, if you guys want to watch it first to see how we reacted to it, like you guys know, we try and do social commentary. We talk about things that are going on in the world. And a big part of our video catalog is reviewing songs. And so when we reviewed this song, I responded off the cuff because it was a true reaction for me, because I had never seen the song before, never seen the video, so I just gave my honest review of it.
Let's start off with a funny one just to get it rolling here. Okay.
There are funny ones?
Yeah, there's some funny ones. This guy, Burley M. Here. First he says Joyner does good work, but then he said about the white actor in the video, he said the actor did black voice, so it's all good.
Okay, yeah.
Black voice.
Yeah, black voice, yeah.
If you haven't seen the video, you got to go back because there's a white actor mouthing the part of the black rapper.
Yeah, and he says the N-word a lot. It's not him saying it, it's the actual artist voicing the parts of both the white man and the black man.
Yeah. They get progressively more hostile towards Cedric as they go on. Some of the early ones, okay. This one, simply by M. Gentles 3, if I'm saying that right. It said, so in that video, Cedric made the comment that blacks comprise only 13% of the population and commit 50% of the crime. So it's just statistics. Yeah. It's not even just his opinion. He's just reading statistics. So this person says, is it true that blacks are only 13% of the population, though? Are they using the census to arrive at that number? Do a majority of black people fill out the census? It's kind of an insult again. It's like, can they find their IDs, right? Can they get an ID? Yeah. Asking because I don't know. Socioeconomic conditions are an outgrowth of education or lack thereof. The answer is school choice. A choice Democrat states denied to children when Trump tried to implement it. Okay, so at the end he kind of agreed with us there.
I agree with that comment.
Okay.
I don't think that one's a hard-hitting one. I think that was a serious question. It's hard to convey emotion through the written word, through a text. I think he's saying, do blacks actually comprise 13% of the population? Based on statistics, census, and you brought up a very good point. Do all blacks, do all people? I'm very kind of in that
people.
trick of black and white. Do all people fill out the census? No, just like all people do not vote. So you don't get a true recording of what's going on. But based on the numbers that we have and that we've collected, black people comprise 13% of the population. So that was a great comment.
Okay, so Lego Maego responded to that. Yes, the 13% is accurate. The census isn't just made by filling out the census form. They do canvassing where they go door to door and address to the addresses and don't return the census form. As for your statement about school choice, what that actually means in real life is that they want to allow rich people to take public school funding out of the public schools and use it for tuition to their private schools. In the end, the intention is to defund public schools and subsidize private education for rich white children.
Nothing could be further from the truth. Take it from someone who spent 15 years in the teaching industry, and a lot of those at private schools, we had a wide array of students from all races. Black, white, Asian, Hispanic. And these were just parents who had a choice.
And there's another response to that goes into it deeper. So go look through our stuff. So here's where we get to the fun stuff. Ready?
Okay, here we go.
This is Lego My Ego again. So this is when he just responded to the video, not the other person. He said, the willful ignorance of these two displayed is pretty shocking.
Okay.
And remember, that's the one that thinks that school vouchers and school choice is only for rich white people, when it's actually been shown to help poor neighborhoods, because poor neighborhoods can't go to private schools on their own.
Right.
But with the voucher program, now they can.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
Right. Okay, this is by Nikki Lazarus.
Okay.
All right. She says, I'm assuming it's a she. I am so confused by this video. You're all for what the Caucasian man states and agree with nothing of the African American man is stating. The whole point of Joyner Lucas writing this song and the music video is for both sides to realize that there is some truth to both sides. They're both supposed to be character extremes from both sides, not what every white or black person thinks, as that's impossible to do. Just so you're aware of the point of the video, and then a heart. It's a little condescending.
Yeah.
Like we don't know that. We understand that.
I think she meant well.
She did, but we did stop it.
Yes.
And again, speaking as the white guy on this show, I don't know anybody, I've never met anybody that would use the N-word like the white guy is portrayed in that video. I mean, it may happen. It's an extreme case, as she said. But the points that the black guy makes, they're not extreme because it's what we hear in the mainstream media all the time. That's the only thing we were pointing out. So it was a little biased one way. They're calling the white guy saying the N-word all the time and using all these things, but then the black guy is what we hear all the time.
Exactly.
Right? That's all.
But everything is based upon paradigms and perspectives, how you grow up. And I made a point toward the end of the video. If you listened, if you watched the video, I said the dialogue was great. I enjoyed the dialogue because people need to understand each other. Because the black guy from South Central shouldn't know how the white guy from Appalachia is feeling. But then there's also the black guy from Beverly Hills who knows what the white guy from Beverly Hills is going through. So a lot of this stuff isn't color or racism. It's more socioeconomics. Where did you grow up? Because there's a huge difference between race and culture. My race as a black man, it's so much different than the culture that I grew up in. We live here in Southern California, and you can drive within 10, 15 miles and find completely different cultures, right, from going to LA to Orange County to South Central to Beverly Hills to the desert. Depending on how you were growing up, and things that were the values that were put into your life will dictate who you are.
All right, this one, Profane Personality wrote, "You guys missed the whole point. You are sympathizers. Shame on both of you." I don't know what that means. What does it mean we're sympathizers?
I don't know. I wish it would have gone into more detail.
Sometimes it's just words.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one, Trap Bra, says, "Bros whitewash for show."
Whitewash for sure. Not whitewash for sure. I sympathized with both actors. I know where they're both coming from. I was telling Brian earlier that I had this comment with my niece back in 2020 during BLM, where she said, "Uncle said, do you," and I know she was trying to trap me. She's, "Uncle said, you don't feel that Black Lives Matter?" I said, well, honey, well, of course I do. I said, it would be completely asinine for me not to feel that I don't care for you or my nephews or my own children or my parents or multitudes of aunts, uncles, and cousins. Of course, I believe that Black Lives Matter. I didn't agree with the Marxist organization that raised millions and millions of dollars, which none of you can tell me where that money went to this day. If you can, we'll send you a t-shirt, which will be equal to the millions of dollars. I feel that all lives matter. And when you say that, you get this knee-jerk, visceral response from people saying like, oh, so you're a racist. No, I believe that all lives matter. And so you can show me a group of people who are out there saying that Black lives don't matter or putting things in place to keep the black man down, as the term goes, then I will continue to say that all lives matter.
Okay, so here's one, and I actually get included in this one. This is by Maddie Sconiers. Hopefully I'm not butchering your name. I don't understand the point of this reaction when the white guy is clearly racist and the black guy is clearly whitewashed. Again, with the whitewash. Okay. So, again, just name calling. I mean, I want them to explain how they know that I'm racist.
Yeah. Point to that part in the video. Say, well, at the 12-11 mark, you said this. And we'll gladly address it. But just because I didn't agree with everything the black guy said and you think I agree with everything the white guy said, first of all, that's a fallacy. It's not true. It's not what happened. If you watch the video again, you'll see that I stopped it during the white guy's part and during the black guy's part, and we addressed certain things.
And just to throw out the term, the white guy is racist, you've basically taken that word racist and you've stripped it of all meaning. And that's what the left has been doing with a lot of words over the past, decade.
Yeah.
So you've taken all of the power out of the word.
Yeah. That, like we always say, when everything is racist, then nothing is racist.
Okay, here's where Cedric's going to respond to this because he got a few of these. He said, the black dude said we as if he is white. Laugh my ass off, bro, is whitewashed. So talk about how you misspoke.
And that's the problem with doing a video. It was a true reaction for me, and sometimes you don't have time to think about what you're going to say. I'm not apologizing. I'm not apologizing at all. I think they're talking about appropriating culture, and I said, we're not trying to appropriate culture. Well, a lot of people jumped on that like a bitch in heat and said, oh, he's white. He said, we're not appropriating culture. We have done numerous videos where we have used the term cultural appreciation as opposed to cultural appropriation. What I meant to say, and I'm not making excuses for this, what I meant to say was like, no one's appropriating culture because everything belongs to everyone. No one owns a hairstyle. No one owns how their fingernails are done. No one owns clothing. Me and Brian, we've done videos in the past where we've gone to the German festival, Oktoberfest, and we celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I didn't wear a kilt, so some of our friends wore kilts.
But on Oktoberfest, he wore the lederhosen.
Yeah. And that doesn't make me wash it. For those who watch us in America, we live in the greatest melting pot that there is, and especially Brian and I living in Southern California. And like there are things that happen with other cultures, whether they be German or Asian or Irish, that you want to like look into and say, you know what, I want to learn more about this. We're not playing get up, we're not playing dress up, we're just appreciating their culture. So when I said we're not appropriating culture, I didn't mean me and Brian as white men, because as you can see, I'm not white.
What?
I am black. I know this isn't a filter. What I meant to say is there's no such thing as cultural appropriation. Everyone should appreciate everyone else's culture.
Well, Brian Aribe said, you both white. So are you sure you're not white?
And you know what they're really saying is, it said because you don't agree with how we agree, then you have to be white.
Again, and to me it goes back to segregation. They're segregating people by skin color, so therefore you have to think about how, think everything that skin color thinks of, which is segregation.
Yeah.
I thought we were trying to do away with segregation.
Yeah. And a lot of times when people on the left talk about diversity, what they really want is they want diversity of appearance. If you have a black guy and a white guy and an Asian guy and a Hispanic guy, that's the diversity we want. And then, well, nowadays you have to throw in the transgender and all the other diverse people that are out there. It's not just diversity of opinion, of appearance. It's also diversity of thought. And every time someone has a different thought, it's insulting to think that all black people are a monolith. Like if you're black and you don't think democratic or you don't think this way, then obviously you are not one of us. Huncho
Flip XX. Okay, I hope I got that right. The BLM protest is saying Black Lives Matter too. It's not saying other lives don't matter. If you say George Floyd, Emmett Till, Breonna Taylor, and other people that were killed by police was justifiable, you're the problem. We just want the justice, and my black brother, I got much love for you, but I'm disappointed.
I respect that. What's his name?
Huncho Flip XX.
Right.
Huncho Flip XX.
And it was very sad. We if you dare to watch any more of our channel, go back to when we did the episode on George Floyd. And I think everyone agreed. What happened in Minnesota today, they had the world in their arms, and everyone's saying that this can't happen with a police officer. But you can't take one individual police officer like a Derek Chauvin, look at what he did and say, okay, the entire police force is now racist. But I do sympathize with people who make mistakes, and there's no such thing as systemic racism. You have individuals who commit racist acts, so you hold them accountable, but I can't hold Brian accountable for what Derek Chauvin did.
Well, according to this, I'm a racist, so. All right, so there was a response to that. They, in general, know exactly what it means. I'm tired of people acting ignorant. Nobody ever said nobody else's life matters, but black lives. They just always got to shut black people down every chance they get. If I were to say white lives matter, what would you visualize in your mind? You know, you start thinking
a hooded individual with a
KKK
torch in his hand.
So why is it not the same when you say Black Lives Matter? When Cedric says all lives matter, people think that that's horrible. And in the video with Lucas Joyner, that's somehow a counter protest. And we made the point that it's not. When you include everybody, you include everybody.
Right. And if you're watching this, thank you. For those of you who, and first of all, I want to say this. I didn't say it at the beginning of the video. I want to say it now. Thank you for those comments, because it gave me a chance to look inside myself. Because Brian will tell you, I was like, man, did I really say that? It's not like I was selling out black people. And he kind of scoffed and laughed at me, as he normally does, no matter what I say, and said, no, you said things. So I very rarely watch our videos twice. So I use it to review it. Brian said, hey, check this out before I upload it, and let's look at it. Let's clean some stuff up. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just tell him, yeah, I looked at it, because he's not going to change anything anyway. So I just look at it. But there isn't a group of people out there who are saying that black lives don't matter. And this may be my ignorance. If there is a group of people out there, if there is systemic racism, if there's a process out there that's keeping black people down, please tell me what it is, because I learned from you guys as well. But if you could point that out to me and educate me and say, well, Cedric, this group is doing this to the black people. I've made a point on numerous occasions where I said, if anything, it's reverse systemic racism, and I get a lot of hate for that, because my children went to college on a diversity scholarship, so they got to benefit from being black. To this day, in 2022, I have not seen a process out there that is holding black people down. And I also brought the story in that video about sitting in the same bus that Rosa Parks sat in, and I clearly stated that I have no idea what that woman went through in the civil rights. I have no idea what she went through. Medgar Evers, Martin Luther King Jr., those were the true pioneers of the civil rights movement who went through racism. Someone like me, I can't keep piggybacking on what they did, because I can't relate to it. I have no idea.
Are you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Brandon Truett.
Let's go, Brandon. Sorry.
I don't think he's going to like that. This is actually really sad. Cedric, man, you got to get out more. Don't know what happened in your life, but this is really sad to see.
Okay. Brandon, I've gone, just like you, I've gone through stuff. And I think sometimes the things that we go through, our experiences, or things that happen to us, kind of shape who we are. I wish you would have been more specific. Just because I didn't agree totally with what the black guy was saying versus the white guy, I don't want you to take pity on me. I am who I am. I'm constantly trying to improve. I will give you that. But if you're watching this, taking the time, I'll have some dialogue with you. Please address exactly what you mean by, you say you felt sorry for me, or just know what happened?
It's really sad to see. Yeah, you need to get out more.
Okay.
But there was a rebuttal to that. Well, not a rebuttal.
A tag on?
A tag on. So this was from IG. Sounds like he grew up with both parents in a middle-class home, if not richer. Probably didn't grow up around poverty or any black people in the struggle. Sheltered, basically.
The first part of that statement is correct.
Yes.
First part of that statement is correct.
And you make that point all the time.
I was very fortunate enough to shout out to my mom and dad who went through some struggles, but they stuck together. And yes, I did grow up in a 2-parent home, middle class. My dad worked 2 jobs. My mom worked 1 job, very good government jobs. They benefit from this day something called a pension. I know some of you don't even know what that is, but they have a pension. And so we were basically a 3-income family. They put my sister and I through private school. 8 miles east of where we lived in LA, my cousin's family lived in South Central. My dad's brother, his dad, was not in the home. And this is not just applicable to black families, this is applicable to families. When you take the father out of the house, a lot of bad things can happen. And that's not saying that, shout out to you strong women out there who raised men, but it is a lot easier for a man to raise a boy than someone else. And so growing up in LA, I was in a huge melting pot. I experienced people from all different races and all very different socioeconomic statuses. People like the big joke with me around here, people who know me, is like, my mother friends were more Will Smith and I was more Carlton from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. There's a scene where Carlton is trying to try out for a fraternity and they don't let him in because he's not black enough. Well, what does that mean? Because like Carlton said, I'm going to paraphrase what he said that I'm running the same race and I'm jumping the same hurdles and going through the same struggles you are. So why are you trying to keep me down? Because I didn't grow up and know your experience. Black is black. I can't change it. And you can't tell me that Barack's children, Sasha and Malia Obama, know what the quote unquote black experience is. That's different from everyone.
Healthy Butterfly, RN, assuming she's a nurse. So she said, never met a more out of touch black man, Cedric. Again, what does that mean? Are you supposed to think only one way because of the color of your skin? That's what I said in my opening here, is that they're trying to put people in boxes instead of, just people.
Right.
This is segregation. He's out of touch with he is black. He grew up black. As far I've known him for over 20 years, he's been black the whole time I've known him. So I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
I don't either. I want to address something that maybe explains to you why I think the way I think. My dad being from Mississippi, my mom being from Alabama. My mom was what you would call the very typical strong black woman. Not to go too deep into their story, but they've had their issues, they had their arguments, and where my mom told my dad that I love you, but I don't need you. That wasn't so much just her fronting and stunting. She meant what she said. I love you as a man. I appreciate you. I respect you, but I am not one of those women where I need you. Good, bad, or indifferent, she instilled that in my sister, and she instilled that for me. And she always said, you are the only one who has control of your destiny. Give your life to God, work hard, and no one can hold you down unless you choose to hold them down. That's where I'm coming from when I don't always side with saying, well, black people are being held down. I said, you are making a choice to be held down. Brian and I are about the same age. We've talked about different struggles. He made different choices in his life. When you make a choice to go into medical school, the outcome is usually different. I decided to go into teaching. The outcome is different. But those roles could have very easily been reversed, because if you look at great doctors in our world, like Dr. Ben Carson, he made a choice to go into the medical field and did something with his life. So when I'm not always siding with people who say like, well, they're holding the black man down and the black people can't do this, I'm saying you're making a choice to be held down. You can't piggyback on what happened in the late 50s and early 60s now in 2022, because you're fighting a fight that's been over.
I think part of the problem is that because of the skin color, people are using that as an excuse not to succeed. Whereas the poor, both sides of my family were poor. I mean, I talked about this before. My great-grandfather came from Poland, no money. My dad's family was in Kentucky. They weren't rich. My dad was the first person in his family to put himself through college after he served in the Army. So just because they didn't have the excuse, and I think this is a crutch, but the people that make these comments keep that crutch going because they're saying Cedric doesn't know the struggle. It's like, no, like he just said, he chose a path. He didn't want to choose the path of his cousin. He chose a different path, and his parents chose a different path, and his parents are black. Let's get to this last one. And this one's kind of tongue-in-cheek, but it's definitely a dig.
Okay.
So this is from Edward Ulicard. It's actually kind of nice to know somewhere there are black people who clearly never been racially profiled, discriminated, or mistreated. So much so they are ashamed to be black. May your children only date white people so you can separate yourself even further.
Edward, good. Okay, good comment there. I think I addressed that earlier.
Yeah, that's why I told you were getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah, I know. When I started talking and stuff, and I think a lot of people say that when I don't identify as being black or I don't identify with the black struggle, I have never had more people who are lighter, whether it be white or Asian, constantly tell me how oppressed I am. And then when I fight it, they're like, no, you don't understand how oppressed you are. I said, well, I make a choice. We live in America, and I know there's a lot of anti-America rhetoric going on right now, especially during this age and time. But everyone out there watching this, you have a choice. You can, wherever you are right now in life, you can have a choice to be there tomorrow, or you can go back to trade school, or you can go back to the junior college and get your AA degree, or you can go to cosmetology school. You have a choice that a lot of countries don't have.
Right.
I don't know how to speak on that anymore.
We need your guys' help. So we're just two guys, like we said at the beginning. We're fighting for the principles we believe, and we're fighting for the principles we believe the founders had for this country. Were there warts and everything on the way up? Yes, but, and you'll see on our logo here, I always put e pluribus unum. So from many, one. We're not supposed to be from many separate into different, ghettos. It's from many, we're supposed to be one, and that's what we fight for.
Ghettos is a Jewish term, by the way.
We have because that's where different people were put. Italian ghettos, Jewish ghettos. That's what people did. They segregated themselves when the founders said, no, let's bring everybody in and we'll form one country. And that's all we fight for. We need your help. When you see comments like that, do like a Twitter feed. Just be respectful and polite, and we'd love to see you guys respond to some of things that you may not agree with. We can't do it ourselves. We're fighting. We know you guys help us. But when you see these things, we'd love to see your response to this instead of this pile on telling Cedric that he's not black,
Right. And I kind of went in with this. Like we said earlier when we opened up this video, Brian can tell you, I came to Brian and said, man, I said, did I really did I mess up? We've put out over 200 videos.
Did I sell out my race?
Am I truly a sellout? And this morning, right before we filmed this one, I actually went to a coffee shop, got myself some coffee, which maybe not black at all, but no, I'm making a joke. Went and got some coffee, and I listened to the video again, because like I said before, we very rarely watch the same video twice. And I'm listening to it, and I'm trying to be critical of myself, and as I watch, I'm thinking, that wasn't really bad what I said, and I don't think I sold out. What I'm doing is saying a call to arms, and maybe I was being racist in the fact that I was championing black people. I said, don't fall for the okie doke. Don't put yourself down because you think someone's holding you down. That is a mindset. And no matter how far you go, it's between the 6, or how fat your head is, 8 inches between your ears. What's going on up in here that's saying, well, yeah, so-and-so's holding me down, and I can't achieve because this is going on. That is a choice that you are making. And the only thing that, if I can sum up that video that we did in one simple phrase, don't let anyone hold you down. You are so much more than what people may say you are. And if you're around those people who are saying that you can't do it, you got to find a different group of people to hang around with. Because if they're holding you down, that you can't have that. I just try and follow the model of Jesus. Just love everyone. I love everyone. And some people it's easier to love, and some people it's not. All right. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you guys for leaving all the comments, regardless of the fact what I said to them. Thank you for leaving the comments, because we need to be called out from time to time. Make sure you like, subscribe, ring that bell, and share our channel with everyone you know. And I've said it before, but I couldn't mean it any more than now. Continue being good to each other. Until next time, I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian. We'll see you later.